Here we are in Fremantle at Victoria Hall. Tonight is a fundraiser for the 2015 Freedom Summit.
This is our third fundraiser. We had two last week and we have two more this weekend. We just want to raise funds for a community bus which will be transporting us to Canberra for Australia Day, Invasion Day, Survival Day, whatever you prefer to call it. And we'll be joining the sit-in to hand over the Declaration of Independence.
What we'll be doing essentially is we'll be travelling across, departing Perth on Monday through to Ceduna, then across to Port Augusta, and from my understanding we'll then be travelling straight through to Canberra. So as part of all of that, we all come together in conjunction with all of the other nations, Australia-wide, representing our respective 10 embassies, and what we will then do is just advocate for our for the rights of our own nations.
We're divorcing the government, that's how I see it. And that's how I sort of try and explain it to people when they ask me what it's all about, and it's basically getting our freedom back and our sovereignty rights.
How can you mix politics with art?
How do I mix politics with art? Well, for instance, a lot of my songs are really political. So yeah, that's a start. I mean, it's not what you sing, it's how you sing it. And that's how you get your message across. With the upbeat tempo, pretty soon everyone's going to be walking around singing it, so yeah.
Just getting up and playing a few songs tonight for all the Noongar 10 Embassy crew to raise some funds to get across to Canberra and raise some alerts of what's going on in Western Australia. And one of the big alerts that are happening is the government's announcement to shut down 150 Aboriginal communities in Western Australia. I believe that they're dismantling our sovereignty so they can try and justify some type of lawful behaviour, but at the end of the day they don't exist lawfully in the first place to actually make such decisions. They've entered into this country as a penal colony. Now I can't understand how a penal colony can all of a sudden have sovereign powers. Like, how does that work out? There's no legal pathway to that journey, that destination. We're going to be looking at potentially a refugee crisis in our own country with our own people.
So we wanted to keep talking about that and telling our people we're not under the jurisdiction of the Crown or the Australian government. We are in our own jurisdiction, and the sooner our people start knowing their own rights, then everything else will follow.
The complications with the government and how difficult they've made entwined legislation and land rights acts and so forth, and native title, they've made it so complex that even our normal grassroots blackfellas are finding it very hard to comprehend. So I would declare all contracts like native title null and void based on the fact they are not, they're hard to comprehend by our people exactly what the repercussions are and what that entails when it comes to sovereignty, and the deception to even cede sovereignty through native title when our mob actually think they are receiving land when it was already ours. It's been handed back under government corporation control. We need to get down to a peace accord or a treaty and proper negotiations that ensure our human rights.
The co-founders of Canberra 10 Embassy, they've been doing this for approximately 42 years when they first co-founded Canberra 10 Embassy. So it's been going for 40 years or so. I mean, be surprised at how many Australians and Aboriginal people aren't aware of the truth and some of the documents that have been hidden from us. And, it just goes on. And the more we all get together and meet, such as on the 26th of January in Canberra, the more often we meet, the more we can all sit down and have a yarn with each other and discuss the issues. And then hopefully towards the end of our meetings, we can all come to an agreement of what steps to take next.
Is that prepared, or they say they're happy to see you guys, or?
I imagine providing everything is well above board and all the representation is fair and equitable for all parties. Living in a democratic society, I think everyone will be quite satisfied.
And how many members the West Coast Action Group takes to Canberra?
I believe there's approximately 35 to 37 of us that will be travelling across.
And is it enough number for voice?
Oh, well, in terms of voice and advocating for our people, like Aboriginal people of the Noongar Nation, there is never enough, yeah? So we have to have a lot more of a collaborative effort from everyone to ensure that the message that we want to put forward in terms of sovereignty of our own nation is as well received by one and all.
This was Tibor for Undercurrent.